Welcome into Roy High School for KSL Sports Rewind's Game of the Week, as we've got a 5A special. The Viewmont Vikings taking to the road to take on a region foe in the Roy Royals. Thank you for joining us, everyone. My name is Dane Stewart. Please be joined by Jeff Hansen. Jeff, Viewmont, Roy was a great regular season matchup. We get again in the playoffs for a chance to advance to the semifinal.
Yeah, I mean, two teams that have played really, really well. Viewmont, maybe we didn't see Viewmont coming. Roy expected to be here. Both teams have been phenomenal. You got to bring your A game. Dane, you realize how much alliteration you had in your opener there? Viewmont Vikings, Roy Royals, you had all kinds of alliteration. You brought your A game.
You know, I'm kind of shocked, Jeff, because I didn't even think of that.
Oh.
If anything, it tells me you're listening, which is A+.
Yes.
A+. What has been A+ this year has been Viewmont. What a start for them. 8-3 coming into this one. Winners of 3 straight. In fact, their last loss was to these Roy Royals. We'll talk more about that game. They have not made a semifinal since 1980. Coach Jones was telling me, we met all of our goals. We feel like this is the cherry on top. We're looking to do something special. We'll see if they can, but it's been a great year for Titan Longson, the quarterback, a 66% completion percentage, 37 touchdowns through the air, and he's got a plethora of weapons in Dres Jensen and Kingston Mickens.
Really excited to see how this Viewmont team plays. They've met all of their goals. Coach Jones, he's the culture king as it is. He's going to have his guys playing loose, feeling confident. We're going to get some milestones in the first offensive drive for Viewmont. They have 199 team receptions on the year. 2980 reception yards. So the first 20-yard pass, they'll go over the 3,000-yard mark, and 971 rushing yards. So they're going to hit the 1,000-yard mark on the ground. A lot of milestones that they could hit here in the first quarter.
Well, speaking of milestones, this has been that kind of a year for Roy. They're 10-1 overall, 6-1 in region play. And look, their first 10-win season since 2014. That was the year they made it to the state championship game. But you look at this group, and Drew Gardner's been good. Logan Sella, we'll talk about him a lot. Robert Young, he's like the Swiss Army knife of Swiss Army knives because he can hurt you in the passing attack, he can hurt you in the running, and he's had one of the best years returning kickoffs across the state. He's been a special player for Roy.
Yeah, we talked about Faleti Yangi for Orem a week ago. This is Robert Young. He's the northern Utah version of Faleti Yangi. He's been spectacular this season.
Roy looking sharp in the black and gold. Oh, it feels so good for my heart. Meanwhile, Viewmont in the black and white on the road. The Vikings ready to kick off. Roy set to return as the second round of the 5A playoffs underway here on KSL Sports Rewind. This one into the end zone for the touchback. And if I'm Viewmont, I'm doing that every time to keep the ball out of the hands of Robert Young.
Yeah, look, you got to try to limit Robert Young's touches any way you can. And if that's on special teams, you do it. He is dynamic. He does a little bit of everything for Roy. He can receive. He's got 65 receiving yards a game, 76 rush yards per game. The only reason he doesn't have more rush yards is because he just takes it to the house every time, no matter how he gets the ball. He's a big play threat every time he touches.
So I'm going to tell you, a player I feel bad for, and it's not because he wears number 0. It's Logan Sella. He's the starting tailback for this Roy offense. And we talk about Robert Young a lot. He's deserved a lot of praise, but Sella is a 1,000-yard back. He's got 12 rushing touchdowns, 7 yards a carry. He'll start in the backfield here on first down to the right of Drew Gardner, as Roy will start at their own 20-yard line after the touchback. Want to remind you, the clock on your screen, unofficial. Times we start early, stop it late, that sort of thing. To keep it trued up with the clock here in the stadium, it's Robert Young with a first down carry, and it's a big one. Young through the hole on the right side, up to the 40-yard line, first down, Roy.
Robert Young, first play of the game. It's exactly what we talked about. He is a big play threat. He gains 20 yards on that first drive. It's a big week for him. Not only is this a playoff game, he got his first college offer from Idaho State. Where are your Vandals at? Idaho State's offering. What's with the other Idaho school?
We're busy preparing for playoffs right now, Jeff. I'm sorry, man.
Okay. They're coming then, is what you're saying.
Well, I hope so. I'd love to see him continue the black and gold tradition up north. But, hey, good on him. Idaho State, it's great to see them recruiting the state more as well. Seeing them on a few players' radars. First down here for Roy, and they will give this to Sella. He'll look up that right side, and this is where you can use Robert Young to distract that defense. Sella picking up 8 here.
It's just so tough. You can't stop them both. And the way that this offense, they use misdirection, they use both of them in motion, they can line up Robert Young as a receiver. It's a really, really difficult offensive scheme to defend. And when you have two studs in the backfield like Sella and Young, it really is pick your poison and hope you guessed right.
Well, and then you have a quarterback in Drew Gardner, 69% completion percentage, 2,000 yards passing, 22 touchdowns through the air. You talk about the receiving. There's a lot of kids that we'll talk about on the receiving end of Drew Gardner. Second down, and it will be the first throw for Gardner. He's looking deep, has a man, and that is juggled and caught into the end zone. Touchdown, Isaiah Morris. Hashtag rewind top 5.
Yeah, holy cow. Really great defense. Zach, I believe that was 17 on the coverage. Zach Andergreg, he had the pass breakup, but Isaiah Morris, the concentration, multiple deflections. He's hitting it up in the air. He comes down with it for the big play, and in less than a minute and a half, Roy is in the end zone. That is what they've done all year long.
Kobe Froker on to attempt the extra point.
Point after try here for Roy.
Robert Young holding.
Froker's kick is up, and it is good. 7-0. Roy wastes no time as they march down and get the opening points of the contest.
I mean, what do you say?
Well, look, I'm nothing if I'm not honest, right, Jeff?
Yeah.
I mean, Honest Abe really got his nickname from Honest Dane.
Yes.
I mean, I know he lived, almost 200 years before me, but irrelevant. I was talking with someone this week. In fact, I told you before, I'm like, I wonder with Roy, if you just play good special teams and you load up the box to slow down the run game, is that a good recipe? And 3 plays, the answer is no, it's not, because very versatile are the Roy Royals.
I appreciate the way that Roy made us look really good. We talked about Robert Young. He goes for a big play. Then we talked about Logan Sella. He goes for a big play. Then we talked about Drew Gardner, and he throws a touchdown. They make us look like we know what we're talking about.
Well, and this offense is so good, it beat me to get to Isaiah Morris. That was my next talking point because he is their leading receiver on the season. Now that his 11th receiving touchdown on the year. Viewmont, this kickoff into the end zone for the touchback. The Vikings will start at their own 20, and Jeff, a chance for them to reach those milestones you were just talking about.
Yeah, and look, we've gushed about the Roy offense here in the opening going. This Viewmont offense has some dudes of their own. Titan Longson at quarterback has been phenomenal for the Vikings this season.
Longson will start off here in the pistol formation. Remember, this was the game in the regular season where it was Tolman had the 3 rushing touchdowns and really kind of leapt onto the scene in that ball game. As this one kept, and not a lot of room to work there as Hunter Webb comes up to make the stop.
Yeah, just a whole cavalry of Roy Royals there to make the stop. This defense has been really opportunistic for Roy. They've forced a lot of turnovers on the year. I believe they have 16 interceptions and 11 fumble recoveries. This is a team that they look for the ball on every single play. When you gang tackle like that, you could find the ball a lot.
Talk about Tolman, averages 5.8 a carry. Longson in the 3.5 per carry range. And we talk about weapons for the Royal offense on the outside. Dres Jensen, Kingston Mickens, both very talented receivers for this Viking offense, looking at a 2nd and 8. They'll stay on the ground, and that was the aforementioned Benji Tolman taking it up for a gain of maybe 3 on the carry.
Big down for Viewmont. They've got to find success with the way that Roy offense could score and find home runs. These 3rd down conversions are going to be huge to watch throughout the game for Viewmont.
In the regular season, it was Viewmont that jumped out to an early 14-0 lead on Roy. The Royals came back to get that win. To your point, Viewmont needs to do something to make an early statement. Hey, we can compete here. Yeah. 3rd and long. They'll stay on the ground. Tolman into the teeth of that D. He's got 4, but it won't be enough. A 4th and short coming up.
Stop short of the line to gain.
Pretty good push by the Viewmont offensive line. There were holes there, but that fast.
I don't see the punting unit.
I love it. I love it. It's the longest yard moment. It's the last game of the year, Dane. You can't hold anything back now.
Here's the thing. If you're that D-line coached by Jake Gallegos, it is hold your water, right? Watch for the hard count here. It's Tolman lined up to take this. He's going to go for it on 4th down. Tolman needs the 30. I don't think he got it. He did not. That Roy defense holds, and Viewmont will turn it over on downs.
Really well defended by Roy. They were not fooled at all by the direct snap. Jackson Schofield has been fantastic all season long. He's averaging 8 tackles per game. That's a huge tackle on 4th down that now sets up this big play offense with just a 29-yard, 30-yard field. Dan, is there a better place to take in a game in the entire state of Utah than Roy High School?
It's pretty amazing, isn't it?
Holy cow.
Mentioned the field is my favorite in the state. You've got the mountain backdrop and the smells. You will not find better smells from a press box as the burgers and fries just whiffing up here from the grill below. Meanwhile, it's first down for Viewmont and movement there, an early jump. This will be advantageous, I think, for the home side.
Let's see what the call is. Refs are reffing. They do that.
Dead ball foul.
Oh.
False start on the offense. 5-yard penalty.
I'll tell you this. That's a very measured white hat, huh? I mean, that was a very calm call there.
Yeah, that was. I like it.
So I was wrong. I thought the Viewmont players jumped. It was a procedure penalty on the offense, 1st and 15.
It was because I praised you in the pregame that, hey, you brought your A game, and now you're wrong already. That's on me. I'll wear that.
But look, I made it 3.5 minutes, Jeff. That's pretty good. Roy to run it. Not much room there for Sella. He'll get back to the line of scrimmage, nothing else.
And Mike Sanchez coming in from the safety spot to get to Sella behind the line of scrimmage. He falls forward for a yard. That's a big play for the safety.
This is exactly what Viewmont needed. You've got a 2nd and long here. If you can make a big play here defensively, get a 3rd and long situation, that might be just what that Vikings side needs.
Yeah, find some juice any way you can get it. Find some momentum, capitalize on that. That's what Drew Jones was trying to do on that 4th down call. Now the defense needs to step up and find it.
Pistol formation here for Gardner. Sella lined up behind him. A little play action. Robert Young out of the backfield. Gardner trying to extend this. He's got some room now looking downfield, and that is just overthrown. Had his intended target, Kahekili Eleneke, but a flag here in the backfield. And we've got a lineman a little slow to get up here for Roy.
Kind of an interesting play. I thought they had Robert Young on the wheel on the backside, but Drew Gardner rolls out the other way.
Well, and that safety ended up staying home.
Yeah.
Because I thought the same thing initially at first as well. As we've got an injury timeout here. We'll step aside, take a quick break. Injury timeout here at Roy High School. You're watching KSL Sports Rewind's Game of the Week. Looking back, the injured player, I think was Julian Vasquez, I believe. Might have gotten that wrong for Roy. There was a penalty called on the play. Backed up to the 44-yard line now. They'll replay 2nd down. Gardner looking for that screen. Has Sella blocking set up. Sella inside the 30. He's got a lane down to the 15, inside the 10. 1st and goal, Roy. Oh, that screen was a thing of beauty.
Man, really, really well set up on the screen. And Logan Sella, man, when he gets a head of steam and he's going downfield, there's not very many people in the state that I want to tackle less than I want to tackle Logan Sella. Huge play.
My apologies. Actually, Hurtado on the injured player for Roy. He's having a look on the sideline. It's 1st and goal. It'll be Sella again. Right side. He will walk into the end zone. Touchdown, Roy.
There he is again, Logan Sella. He's been doing this all year, kind of under the radar. As we've talked a lot about Robert Young. That's what the discussion has been about. But Logan Sella, he's going for 100 yards a game. He's been fantastic for Roy, and that was the Logan Sella drive. The big screen to set up an 8-yard touchdown run. That's what he can do. He's done it for 11 games so far this year.
Boy, and how about the way that this O-line is blocking early here, Jeff? We've seen runs of about 7, 8, and now that one a 9-yarder. There's just no defender around. Is a point after try here for Roy. Up and good. 14-0. An early positive start for the home Royals here in the 2nd round of the 5A state playoffs. Welcome back. 14-0 Roy. 2 impressive drives from the Royals. We talk about Viewmont. They had him in the 2nd and 15. They accept the penalties like 2nd and 20 plus. that screenplay just dissects them and end up finishing off a play later as this kick into the end zone for another touchback.
I mean, look, if you're Viewmont now, you're 5.5 minutes into this game. This place is crazy. The Roy fans, they're loud. This is nuts. You've got nothing to lose at this point. You can play loose, and I think that Coach Jones, his team always plays loose. He's been really good, whether he's at Tooele or whether here, Drew Jones has had a good culture no matter where he's been. I think now you can play loose, play free. What's the worst that can happen? Anxious to see how Titan Longson and this Viewmont offense responds.
So Viewmont starting at their own 20, trailing 14-0, 5 wide, 4 receivers to the top of the formation for Titan Longson. Has a man, that ball caught. Good reception, still on his feet. How about this run after the catch by Jason Dunrow, the junior, taking it across midfield.
And there it is, Titan Longson. That's going to push Viewmont as a team up over 3,000 receiving yards on the season. That's great. Look, Jason Dunrow, maybe that's the guy. Kingston Mickens not playing in this game. Viewmont needs to find some more juice. Dunrow with a huge play right there. Maybe he's that guy for Viewmont.
Yeah, I want to thank our Viewmont friends up here. Help correct that or inform that to us. Same formation here for the Vikings on first down. I'll throw this one out. And trying to get some yardage there is Tolman. He's ahead for a gain of 2.
Really well defended by Roy. Viewmont tried to bring a little bit of pace in that game, get on the ball after the big play quickly. Viewmont stayed poised, stayed in their lanes, and that quick pass, they defended it really well.
Second down here coming up for the Vikings. Reminder, the winner advances to the semifinal. Take on the winner of Timpview-Orem. Right now, that's looking like it's going to be Timpview. There's Longson looking for the long ball, trying to lead his receiver, Drez Jensen. And that one overthrown, incomplete.
Boy, I would look at Drez Jensen a lot. Kingston Mickens commanded a lot of the headlines for this Viewmont receiving attack. But Drez Jensen, he's got 11 touchdowns on the year, big 6'4" receiver. He's been really good for Viewmont, too. A little bit more quiet, but he's a guy that we're going to watch throughout this game.
It's actually going to be a great matchup if they're indeed manning him up with Eleneke. Remember, Eleneke is the young man who had the 99-yard pick 6 in the last matchup, but they're not. Drez Jensen lined up here in the slot, I believe, on this 3rd and long. Trying to go with it on the ground. Longson trying to push ahead. Stood up at about the 42, and it will bring up another 4th down.
Now it's easy to look at that play call, 3rd and 8, and there's a quarterback run. That's very clearly setting up a 4th and manageable. Now it's a 4th and about 5. That's a lot easier than 4th and 8. Very clearly, we know what Drew Jones is trying to do.
And to your point, I love you talking about Drez Jensen, his 6'4" frame. It was actually Cash Tuia in the slot. He's 6'2". They do have length at the receiver position. See if you can attack with that. Jensen to the bottom of the screen here on 4th down. Is Viewmont going for it? 4th and 5. They got to get to the 37. Looking for Drez, and that is Eleneke there to break it up. Incomplete. Viewmont will turn it over on downs.
Great play by Eleneke. He's been really good at cornerback for Roy all season long. You mentioned the 99-yard pick 6. He's got 6 interceptions on the year. He's been a pass breakup machine. He's a very, very good cornerback. That was a good matchup, Eleneke and Jensen.
5'10", 175. You talk about his interceptions, and even there, I mean, it's Drez 6'4", right? You think he can win that battle. Eleneke defended that well. No penalty flag. And for the second time tonight, Viewmont giving it up on a 4th down. Roy will start at their own 42. 5.5 to go here, opening quarter. A quick throw. Here's Young. Found a little gap. Bouncing off defenders across the 50.
I do have a critique. I've got a critique of Robert Young's game. He's playing safety. He runs the ball. He catches the ball. He's also the holder. Maybe he should kick. Everything's been super impressive all year, but maybe he should kick, and that's what would bring that Idaho offer if he also kicked.
That's actually not the critique I thought you were going to give.
Oh, well.
I thought you were going to ask for the detail on the extra helmet protector.
Oh, no, I like that. That's a good move.
No, I like the helmet protector, but, it's
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Give him
just throw the
a
decal
stripe
on there,
or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that.
Again, I'm very big on helmets. Here's Sella, and another big body run from Logan Sella, taking it to the 34-yard line, a gain of 9.
This Roy team from top to bottom, just senior-laden team, a lot of leadership. There was a lot of movement with Westfield opening up, and there were coaching changes, new coaches at Fremont. There was a lot of shaking around here in Weber County, but not at Roy. These guys knew they had a good team, and these guys wanted to come back and make a run.
A bunch formation here to the bottom of the screen for the Royals, leading 14-0 here in the first quarter, looking deep, and they've got a man. Caught inside the 10 and out of bounds at the 2. That's Isaiah Morris, his second big grab of the night, first and goal, Roy.
Really well done by Isaiah Morris. Drew Gardner puts the ball up in the air and lets his receiver go make a play. Morris, the way that he tracked that ball, readjusted, and made the catch, that was really impressive wide receiver work.
Yes, it was. And you see those one-on-one matchups, you got faith in your guy. Throw it to only where he can get it. As Roy Sella trying to push ahead, he'll get this to the 1.
Logan Sella.
Oh, he's just a big guy.
He is.
I mean, he is just a big, intimidating running back. And it's starting to get cold. I'm not going to complain about the cold, but a little bit I am. And I wouldn't want to tackle Logan Sella in this cold.
5'11", 210, and he looks bigger than that, doesn't he?
He does. He is a big boy.
Second and goal. Young to the right, Sella to the left of Gardner. It'll be Young. Finds a seam into the end zone. Touchdown, Roy.
It's just tough, Dan. When this offense is clicking like it is right now, I mean, you've got Gardner in the pass game. I mean, everything's working there. A pair of tailbacks that are both big play threats whenever they touch the ball. This is tough. This is a really tough assignment for this Viewmont defense.
And if you're Roy, you got to love that right now you have established the run and you're finding open lanes, right?
Yeah.
Point after try. This kick up and good. 21-0, all Roy here in the first quarter of the quarterfinals, the 5A state playoffs. This kickoff angled, returnable from his own 2. Looking up the middle, now cutting back. Across the 30, Jordan Jones. Great return up to the 40-yard line for Viewmont.
Yeah, great vision by Jordan Jones. The cutback, he found his lane really well. Hey, look, if you're Viewmont, rather, you got to find a momentum, something, some sort of a spark. Maybe that big special teams play is what Viewmont needs to get going.
For those of you watching, that smoke is not people breathing, although it is that cold. That is the beautiful grill here at Roy.
Yeah, and listen, if you're at the game and you don't choose to bring us a cheeseburger at some point in this game, I'm going to be upset.
Jeff, why don't you head down there, get in line, and we can mic you up, eh?
I want to test the Roy faithful at this point.
All right. Run here from Benji Tolman, ahead for a gain of 5.
I'd like to see Tolman get going. They've tried to get him going and get that running game going. He was a big key. You mentioned it. A big key in the first game between these two teams. He's a big key to this offense that will really loosen things up for Titan Longson in the passing attack.
I don't want to say shell shock because Viewmont doesn't look stunned, but man, like the way Roy just boom, 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 and a couple fourth down stops. This is becoming increasingly important for the Viewmonts to find some success as Tolman. Oh, how about the strength of Logan Sella? He's on the ground, has one hand on the jersey, and Tolman's going nowhere.
No. And that's what makes Logan Sella so impressive. He's not gassed from doing that on the offensive side of the ball. He just turns around and plays defense, and he's still that big of an impact player.
You made a point about this year for Roy. I remember talking to people, and they were like, Roy's the best team up north if they stay healthy,
yes.
Right? They have stayed healthy. It's paid huge dividends on what's been a great year, and they've got all those contributors ready to make a run back to Rice Eccles should they win here tonight. Empty backfield on 3rd and 5, and that throw is caught. Similar looking plays we had moments ago as this is Jason Dunrow with the completion. First down, Viewmont.
Great ball by Longson. Dunrow settles into that window, and Longson delivers a dart right there. Moves the chains, and just like that, Dane, Viewmont, they're knocking on the door of the red zone. This offense can get going.
It can. They've had a couple of big plays just like that, both the Dunrow. See if they can keep this one going as we're inside of 2 minutes of this opening quarter. First down for the Vikings. They like this formation, this overload 4 to one side here for Longson. First down, rolling out. That's along the sideline. Caught out of bounds as that was Jordan Jones on the reception.
I think that's what it takes. I love it when this Viewmont offense, when they're able to win on first down, stay ahead of the chains, and you could get Tolman in the running game. You could call some screens, swing passes. The whole playbook is open on 2nd and 5.
Really only tried to stretch the field that one time. Everything else has been kind of underneath, except for, kind of 2 of those shallow posts. I don't know if that's the right way to describe it. Big Tolman run through the middle inside the 20, and Benji Tolman down to the 10 as he stood up there just outside the 10. But what a run, the best run of the night for Tolman and the Vikings.
Hey, we've talked a lot about the physical running of Sella. How about that from Tolman? That was a big, he lowers his shoulder, invites the contact, moves the chains, and now Viewmont's knocking on the door. Huge possession. They have got to find the end zone.
They do actually move this to the 10, so it is first and goal for the Vikings. Talk about needing to find points. Huge possession here for Viewmont late in this first quarter. Tolman in the backfield. Quick throw through the fingertips and almost intercepted. Whew, fortunate there.
Yeah, this fortuitous Roy defense, man. I mean, they have not missed many opportunities to come down with interceptions this year. That's a tough one. This is interception zone. This is scoring zone for the Roy defense right here. They feel great about 99 yards.
Yeah, what, 3 straight weeks was it?
Yeah, crazy.
Unreal. Don't think I've ever seen that. In fact, this was one of the demons for Viewmont last time. Coach Joe said we were inside the 24 times where we didn't come away with points. Got to finish drives. Here's an opportunity for this Viewmont squad. Longson, pocket, run out of room, gonna run it. Tighten inside the 5, trying to stretch this in. Touchdown, Viewmont. Touchdown. What a run from Longson.
I'm trying to catch a number. I can't see who the wide receiver was that came off his block to pick up the big block that really freed Longson up into the end zone. Great downfield blocking and then great pocket awareness by Titan Longson. Senses the pressure, steps up into the pocket, finds the loose spot, and does the rest with his legs. Really great run by Longson.
They needed it. They got it. And now a chance for the point after.
No penalty on the play.
Oh, I didn't even notice there was a flag there.
Well, that's the kind of flag we'd like. They didn't want you to notice it. They pick it up. Just a little discreet flag and then, get off the field.
I mean, this is how you know that flag was hard to see. Jeff didn't make any mention of it. That's when Jeff pounces.
I was going to talk about refs reffing, but I couldn't figure out what the penalty was. I knew they'd wave it off.
Point after up. This one good. 21-7. Viewmont gets the answer they needed here with inside a minute to play in our first quarter. Inside a minute to play. Opening quarter. Viewmont with their first points of the game. This is one of those critical areas for Roy. See if the Royals can get a return. Eleneke and Young back to receive this one into the end zone. There will be no return.
It's a good strategy. Just kick it into the end zone every time.
I'm not a coach, but I'm kind of one of those where I'm like, just never give a return. I don't know why you would. I don't know, Jeff.
I'm with you. I get the logic is great. You get a high kick right at the 1 yard line, give the coverage a chance. But why? Why risk it? Let's just play.
Yeah, make them go 80 yards every time.
Go to the 20. We can do it every time. Yeah. At all levels of football, I'm with you. I don't understand.
And let's be honest, it's just that easy. I do it on my video game all the time, right?
Listen, if you were a coach, Devin Hester wouldn't be in the Hall of Fame today.
Amen. Yep. But I'm not, and there's probably good reason for that. First down. Here's a run for Roy, running out of room, trying to get back to the line of scrimmage, won't do it as Rhett Slater gets locked up. Great pursuit by that Viewmont defensive front.
Yeah, really well done. Viewmont strings that play out well.
Loss of a yard on the play.
That's exactly what this defense needs to do. Look, as much offense as we've seen from Roy, it's 21-7. That was a big score by Viewmont. If you figure out a way to get a stop here, you're not out of this game. It's far too early to write anything off at this point.
Yeah, I mean, we still got a good 10 degrees to drop before this one's done. It's very early in the night. 2nd and 11 is Sella in the backfield. Probably the final play of the quarter. Sella with the carry. And Sella will mow through that line, picking up about 4, maybe 5. And that will do it. First quarter complete. Good one for the home side, as it will be 3rd down here for Roy to start the second. You're watching KSL Sports Rewind's coverage of the 5A quarterfinal on KSLSports.com.
21.
Start of the second quarter. Dane Stewart, Jeff Hansen. 3rd and 6 for the Roy Royals. Jeff, if you're Roy, what are you dialing up here?
I don't know, something warmer. Just checking it out. It's 42 degrees. Dial up a heater play, Roy.
Sella in motion. Looking deep. That ball overthrown. Intended target was Hunter Webb. And there's the stop this Viewmont defense needed.
Yeah, look, that was the only place that Gardner could go. I mean, he was either scramble and throw it out of bounds or throw it beyond everybody. The Viewmont defense was locked in. There was not any black jersey that didn't have a white jersey in its pocket. Really, really well defended on 3rd and long.
So Roy to punt it away for the first time tonight. Froker back at his own 10. Meanwhile, Jones backing up to about his own 30. Froker's kick away. Jones will be able to, had to make a late dive for it. Thought he was going to have a chance at a return, but will not, and the Viewmont Vikings will start at their own 35.
Yeah, all things considered, you make the diving punt catch, that's a win. When you leave your feet, you don't feel great about it.
Talking with Coach Jones, I said, Coach, if there's one thing you need tonight, what is it? He goes, no turnovers. So if you can't get a return because you secure the football, fine, right?
Right.
You get a stop, you don't want to give Roy a short field. You want your offense back on the field, and it is on for the Vikings. Good mix on that last drive.
I get the temptation, though. This is Parker Kingston's field. If you muff the punt, then they go for touchdowns. I think that's what he's taught us. So I'd want to do it. It was cool.
But it's not your field. It's the visiting field, right? Do you tempt that?
Well, I mean, now you're messing with fate.
Right.
You really got to bring it up with the football gods. And I think it's too cold for the football gods to even watch this game. So that's a good call. Just secure the punt.
Yeah. No gain. You can see the pursuit of that Roy defense. Boy, it was in the backfield before they could really make a read on where they wanted to go.
I've been super impressed with the Roy linebackers. That unit is quick. They are right at the line of scrimmage, daring Viewmont to throw it.
And I'll tell you this,
fast.
They look athletic and big, those linebackers for Roy do. Empty backfield on 2nd down. Longson sees some room open up. Longson evades one tackle. Boy, wrapped up. That's a good tackle made there by Jackson Schofield, the senior. Man.
My goodness, Jackson Schofield. He's been, I think he's the 2nd leading tackler for this Roy team. He's very aggressive. You saw it there. I love the way that Longson, look, if these linebackers are going to be that aggressive, they're going to stack the box like that, that quarterback run game is going to have lanes. Longson did a great job of finding the lane and gaining positive yards on that play.
Here's the linebacking core for Roy. 5'11", 210, 6'4", 220, 6'1", 205, 6'1", 230. It's an athletic, big group.
Big
3rd
unit.
and 4 here for Viewmont. They'll try it on the ground. Tolman looking for a hole, and he will not get it. Going to be a half yard short, as that was, I believe, Foss who came up with the stop.
And there will be no thought. Viewmont has gone for it on 4th down every other time. I would assume they go for it here on 4th and call it a foot and a half.
They had a 4th and 1 in that first quarter. They did not convert it. They're going to try it again here.
You've got to do something to get these aggressive linebackers off balance. Misdirection, something.
Same formation. Tolman set up for a direct snap. He will try it. Right side, met and stoned again. No room for Tolman on 4th and 1 as Viewmont will turn it over on downs for the 3rd time tonight.
Man, those linebackers, we talked about it, man. They are big, they are fast, and they are aggressive. They are fitting into every gap right now. That's tough. 2 4th and 1s. You normally feel really good about that. If you're Viewmont, you've got Tolman in the backfield. But this Roy defensive front has been fantastic.
Well, and the thing you have to love is they've been able to move the football on the ground. 3, 4, 5 yards to carry, but you get 4th and 1 twice now that Roy defense has said no.
Yeah. This feels like a home run try if you're Roy. The way they've played this year, I feel like they go deep here.
Well, Young is in this looking for Eleneke, and that ball overthrown by a couple yards.
The crowd's going to want a flag. There was some contact, but there was a mutual contact.
Yeah.
They were giving it to each other. I like the refs keeping their flag in their pocket on that play.
I think that's a decent battle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's a battle, right?
Yeah, that felt good. Really, really well defended. And yeah.
If you're watching this game at home and you don't have a rooting interest and they throw a flag on that one, you're like, come on. Like, can we not play defense? And you know what I mean? It's one of those plays.
I'm with you.
3rd and 1. 5 receiver, and did they stay? No, they jumped. It'll be an automatic 1st down here for Roy as that ball will move ahead 5 yards.
I feel like I have to take the torch that Dusty lit and continue. I hate the defensive false start. If they get back, let it go. But how about this Roy home crowd? Man, these guys are fired up. This is a fun place to take in a game.
Stands are packed.
Yeah.
I mean, you're driving in, you see signs, Roy game tonight. Stadium opens early. You've got an entrance video welcome board.
Yeah.
Grill's been going for hours. Like, it is a fun environment.
People are having to park at Burger Bar down at the Air Force Base. This place is packed.
It's an automatic 1st down. It's not automatic, but it is a 1st down here. That's Young in motion. They'll throw it out to him. Robert Young, you got good block set up. Young will take this down inside the 20. Boy, I thought maybe could have had a holding penalty, but not called. It'll be 1st and 10 here for Roy.
Yeah, I was looking at that. Hunter Webb for Roy. Could have been a hold. I think it was just a big physical block by the wide receiver. You don't normally see pancakes downfield in the open field, but I think that's what it was.
Why is a pancake not a hold? I know line coaches are going to hate me asking that question, but what's the difference?
You know my answer. Because pancakes are cool, and cool plays are not flags. That's just the rule.
1st down. This is Sella looking at that left side. It's kind of like I had this question in basketball too. You know a power dribble?
No.
Have you heard of power dribble?
No.
Oh, okay. Well,
Didn't mean to ruin your momentum. Yes, I do know a power dribble. Keep going.
I think that's a double dribble.
I don't think I have any idea what a power dribble. Just like throwing it down with 2 hands in the post? Is that what a power dribble is?
Yeah, but that's a double dribble. That's my point. So it's like, why is a pancake not? Anyway, let's get back to the game. 2nd and 7.
No, you have got my brain working.
You know, you said you're the one who gets off topic on cold nights, Jeff. I'm taking us all over the place here. Oh, Young over the middle. Oh, almost a heck of a play. They baited that throw, and Blake Moore nearly had his hands on the first turnover of the game.
That was impressive. Blake Moore with the PBU. I mean, Robert Young was wide open behind him, but Blake Moore goes up, knocks that ball down, nearly came down with a huge interception, but as it is, big pass breakup to set up a 3rd down here for Roy.
A little more enter under that's 6. That defense all kind of shifts over. You mentioned it, 3rd down. Gardner under pressure, having to evade. Eyes down the field, looking end zone. Oh, and that just caught his intended target, Rhett Slater.
It was big number 90, Cooper Willoughby, on the pursuit for Viewmont. Look, that's a big guy at 6'3", 240, but he was keeping up with Gardner stride for stride in the backfield, forces the errant throw. Great job by that Viewmont defense to come up with a big hold and force Roy into a field goal try.
So 4th down, and this will be a 27-yard try here for Froker.
Kobe Froker on to attempt field goal.
Has been solid on PATs. Certainly has the leg for this distance. That one, all right, down the middle.
Field goal is good.
24-7, your lead for the Royals.
That kick had some mustard on it.
Good stop there for the Viewmont D.
Yeah, I mean, a big moment. They needed to keep him out of the end zone. This offense has got to find a way. They've moved the ball better than it seems. I mean, 3 4th downs that they haven't made it on. Just get a little more execution. You know, like I said, on that last 4th and 1, maybe a little misdirection, keep the quarterback on the field. Something to keep these Roy linebackers honest, because, man, they are aggressive and they are coming after the ball carrier on every single play.
So Roy to kick off here. You know, and if Viewmont can go get a touchdown here, 10-point ball game. Again, just kind of chipping away, but offense has to find a way to have success here.
Ball comes out to the 20-yard line. 1st and 10, Viewmont Vikings.
The cold is hurting my memory a little bit. Viewmont will get the ball at the second half, right? No, I made that up.
Yes, no, you're correct.
Oh,
Viewmont
good.
will get the ball. We've got our first timeout taken. Timeout, Roy. We'll be back. Welcome back. Oh, my goodness. It just happened. It just happened. Look at you, man.
Well, I have a new alma mater. It doesn't matter where I went to school. I'm a Roy guy now, and I apologize,
man.
Viewmont fans. This might be a Homer broadcast.
A
from here on
burger
out.
and fries brought to Jeff Hansen from Roy. Wow. How is it?
It's great. It's absolutely great. You want some fries, Dan? These are our fries together.
You know what? You're a better person than I am, Jeff. Yeah,
You wouldn't share with me?
No, I would share with you. But, you know, I'm mean, right? And I slide a lot of barbs your way. So
Yeah, that's true. Look, you're going to have to filibuster while I put the condiments on.
I'll take care of it. Yeah, that's pretty good. 2nd and 8 here for Viewmont. Same formation, this 4 to the top side. Longson going to throw the screen. Caught ahead for a 1st down and more. Nice reception there by Dunrow. Again, he's having himself a big night tonight for this Viking offense.
Takes the ball out to the 31-yard line.
The burger is as good as it smells. I just want to make that clear for everybody.
Man, how about that, huh? Jeff makes a call and Roy steps up.
Yeah, Roy.
Love it.
We talked about it. There's no better place to watch a game or call a game, apparently.
I love it up here. 1st down for Viewmont. How about a four wide bunch? And defended well by Roy. Longston having to take this on the run. He'll gain 2.
Longson.
I mean, well done by Longson. There was pressure really quickly for him to gain any positive yards.
Ryan Fox.
That was a win for Viewmont on that play.
On the tackle. Ball out to the 33-yard line. 2nd down.
2nd down here for the Vikings.
8
We
yards to go.
talked about this matchup earlier this year. Longston had a good ball game. 68% completion percentage, 250 yards through the air, had 2 interceptions thrown. Did have a passing touchdown. Tolman had a productive game, 95 yards, but haven't been able to get that ground game going consistently here tonight. Thrown out, caught, trying to make a man miss. Still taking ahead for a 1st down. That's a nice play for Viewmont.
That's exactly what they need. Man, and Dunrow, he has been a big play threat.
Yeah.
In the absence of Kingston Mickens, who, if you don't know about Kingston Mickens, He's dynamic. He's one of the best receivers in the state of Utah. That's a big absence for Viewmont, but Dunrow has stepped up and filled that void really nicely.
Kingston, he still plays both ways, right?
Yes.
So that's a defensive miss tonight as well for this Viking side. As here is Tolman on the run, and Benji surging ahead for a gain of 5. We've seen them do that at times tonight. It's just been really the critical situation, the 4th and shorts, that they haven't been able to have that success.
They've been able to get the run game going, but it's those obvious run situations that you see 8 Roy Royals right at the line of scrimmage. That's tough for anybody to run against.
2nd down. How about Dunrow to the bottom of the screen here? Watch out for number 80. Longson running out of time and room and goes down. First sack of the night for this Roy defense, as it's a loss of 7. And that was Angie Ahui, I believe. Nope. Yeah, Aho with the sack.
And with the moves after the play, that was choreographed. I appreciate good choreography. That was well done by that Roy defense.
I got to get this right. Anj Awi with the sack there. My apologies.
Well done. Well, you didn't get a burger. How can you be expected to get names?
No,
right? I get it.
I don't need a burger.
No, you don't.
It's one of those where, sometimes games catch you by surprise. That one caught me by surprise. My apologies. 3rd and 13. Longson. Nobody open. He's going to try to get this on the ground, and he won't be able to do it. Good pursuit, led there by Sella. And it's a 4th down here for Viewmont.
Viewmont's been aggressive on 4th downs all night. I don't think this is the 4th down to be aggressive.
Yeah. And how about the secondary of Roy? I mean, they have tried to get that passing attack going. Haven't really been able to get separation all night tonight, Jeff.
Yeah, no, the Roy defense, I have been impressed. We've talked about Roy's offense all season long with Sella and Young and Gardner and all that, but this Roy defense in this game, this is a good Viewmont offense that they're playing against. Titan Longson, anyway, we talked about it, 3,000 passing yards, is the all-time Viewmont passing leader. Roy's defense has been great through the first half tonight.
And you talk about this Roy team, and obviously we talk about Sella being a little unheralded. Their leading ball carrier. He's also their leading tackler on the year. A young man who makes impacts on both sides. Pretty impressive. And again, a lot of players go both ways for Roy, but to lead your team in major categories on both sides of the ball, pretty strong year.
And it's not like he's leading with 5 tackles in a game. It's 11 tackles per game.
Good punt here. A little bit of a lane. Spinning out of 1 tackle. As Slater brought down at the 40-yard line.
2 minutes and 47 seconds on the clock here inside the stadium. That's plenty of time for this Roy offense. Looks like we have a guy down.
Yeah, we do have an injured Viking. As looks like trying to get a number on that. Might be Ezekiel Cook, the senior defensive end for Viewmont. Want to remind you, we've got semifinals next week. Join Jeff Hansen, myself, Moose Bingo will be there. We'll have other guests coming your way from Rice Eccles as well, as we will have pregame, halftime, and postgame coverage for you in all the 4A, 5A, and 6A semifinals. Those, of course, start Thursday. We'll have them for you Thursday and Friday. You can watch that only on KSLSports.com.
That pregame show, that's fun. That's one of the most fun things in all of high school football throughout the year. We won't even let Moose talk about kicking that much.
We literally throw his chair over when that happens. Here's a direct snap. Young finding a little seam there, and Robert Young, you see how tough he is, able to pick up 10 and a first down.
Oh, and that just is how special Robert Young is. That felt like a slow developing play that was going to go for 2 or 3 yards. Lo and behold, it's a first down.
Across midfield. Be interesting to see how aggressive Roy is here. It's so explosive. You don't even have to call special plays. The offense can create room and create explosivity out of its normal operation. 2.5 to go, only 2 timeouts left for Roy. Gardner here to call the line of scrimmage. He's going to go deep. Looking for Alaneke, and that one, oh boy, I thought there could have been a call there. Oh, he made the catch.
Yeah.
Wow,
Eleneke.
Eleneke with the catch inside the 20.
Yeah, with the man on his back, Eleneke comes down with it. I about mentioned before that play that I think ideally Roy would like to take some time off the clock and go into the half, without giving Viewmont another chance. But when you've got this big play offense, you can't really do that.
That safety slid over late, and you saw we called it Gardner making that change. It was for the one-on-one matchup with Eleneke, and Keeley won it.
Great
First
ball
down.
by Gardner.
Great ball. Inside the red zone here, 1:39 to go. Gardner with a late signal. This is a run. Sella had a good lane, just brought down. That's an important stop made there by this Viewmont defense.
Look, and now that run, that goes for 3 or 4 yards. But one thing that really stood out that you don't see a lot at the high school level, that was Drew Gardner checking out of a play there at the line of scrimmage. You see that in the NFL. You see that in college. That's tough to do. Really impressive command of the offense by Gardner.
2nd and 6. Down to a minute. And nowhere to go. That is big number 90 for Viewmont coming up with the tackle. That's Cooper Willoughby, the 6'3", 240 junior, with a big stop, and Roy will take the timeout.
Yeah, Willoughby's had a really strong game. That big defensive end. We've seen him chasing down Drew Gardner on the last drive, and you see him getting into the backfield, taking down Sella. He's been impressive.
Quick timeout here, taken by Roy. They'll have one left, and it'll be a 3rd and 8 when we come back. Jeff was so kind to share some of his meal with me, and those fries are A+. If you're at Roy, go get some fries. It's worth it.
Yeah, the burger's great. I know Burger Bar's here, and that was good enough for Guy Fieri. If it would have been football season, he would have come here.
I'm going to have to tell you about my high school eats. It was a long time ago. My high school did something really cool. After this play, we'll get to it. 3rd and 8 here for Roy. Looking on the out. That caught. Trying to stay in bounds. Nice little move there. Morris inside the 5. Lost the football. And Viewmont comes up with it. The Viewmont defense getting a huge turnover.
Man, what a huge play for Viewmont. Morris trying to get those few extra yards. Could have just gone out of bounds, but he doesn't. He tries to get into the end zone. Viewmont comes up, pokes the ball loose, picks up the fumble. That is exactly what Viewmont needed in that moment.
While we got a little time, I went to high school up in Idaho. My high school, and again, this is over 20 years ago, they did turkey legs, barbecued turkey legs. They were phenomenal. Every game, man.
That is incredible.
It was unreal.
Danes High School in Disneyland, man. Look at that.
Viewmont starting this drive at their own 6, and Longston trying for the double move there, and that Roy defense just been smothering all night. As this clock down to 30, still running. Surprised they aren't taking a timeout here.
I'm a little surprised Roy isn't taking a timeout.
That's my thought.
Yeah.
If you're Viewmont, there's no rush here, right? Usually one more play to kind of tick this off. Longston running out of time. He's past the line of scrimmage. That ball's caught, but this is going to come back, and that's what you don't want to do, although the clock ticking off and stopped here with 8 seconds to go.
Up to the 19-yard line.
Hey, look, I like it. Give it a shot. Maybe they don't see it. He was a couple yards beyond the line of scrimmage, but in that situation, why not? Give it a whirl.
Forward pass on the offense.
So that'll be a loss of down, and this is where it's dangerous. So you run it here, and they stop it with 4 or 5 seconds left. They can take a timeout and force you to punt with the ball back inside your own 3.
2-yard line. 3rd down.
Interesting to see what Viewmont calls here. Oh, that clock running.
Oh. Well, okay, running
I
clock.
got clarity on that, by the way. Did I tell you the clarity on that?
You did tell me. I still didn't understand it, but I understood that there was a rule at least.
What happens is that however the play ended, those previous clock rules apply. So, in that case, it was a reception across the middle of the field, so they wind the clock. The penalty does not automatically stop it, and with that, the first half expires. 24-7, Roy leading Viewmont in the 5A quarterfinal. You're watching live on KSLSports.com.
The most important purpose of high school sports is to create memories. When you connect with somebody who's on your team that loves you, that wants you to succeed, you've created a memory. end quote. As a coach, Fred Thompson helped create positive memories for thousands of high school athletes. Joining Coach Thompson on the field, on the track, his wife, Helen, who is the strongest supporter, best friend, and greatest inspiration to Coach Thompson. Along with them, 4 children, Eric, Thompson Tough, Thompson, Jenny, Bry, and Kalani. Fred and Helen also have 16 grandchildren, 3 great-grandchildren. Please join me in recognizing this great man for his excellence as a baseball coach, his lasting impact on the community, the state, and Roy High, Fred Thompson. And be sure to come back on April 18, 2025, when we officially name our baseball field Fred Thompson Field.
Welcome back. Getting ready to start our second half. Dane Stewart, Jeff Hansen with you. 24-7 the lead for the Roy Royals. Jeff, your thoughts on the first half?
Look, I've been impressed by this Roy offense all year, so I'm not surprised that they've played as well as they have. But I am really impressed with this Roy defense. We knew they were good. We knew that they were a big play defense, could force turnovers, things like that. But they have played just some physical, lockdown defense. That's been maybe the most impressive aspect of this Roy first half for me.
Yeah, and I think when you think about it, right, 2 stops on 4th and 1, and then 1, I think, on 4th and 4.
Yeah.
And, Coach Jones said, hey, look, we come to a place that's a region foe. There's some familiarity. We know we haven't been great against them, but we're going to try to go and play loose and see if we can't do something that we haven't done in over 40 years, and that's make it to a semifinal. And they've pushed all their chips to the middle of the table, but that Roy defense has been the difference.
Yeah, that Roy defense has been great. Really impressive Viewmont defensive stand there at the end of the half to force that turnover as Roy was knocking on the door of the end zone again. Does that propel Viewmont to start this second half? I mean, look, Dane, they've got nothing to lose at this point. They're a perceived underdog coming into this game, playing against the top-seeded Roy Royals. They got nothing to lose. They can play loose and free. Maybe a play like that allows them to, figure out something offensively.
Well, and if you think about the last 2 possessions that Roy had, the one ends up in a field goal.
Yep.
But that was after Viewmont nearly got a pick at the goal line.
Right.
And then the other one, they get the pick inside the 5. So to your point, Jeff, it feels like that defense may be starting to get a little bit of stride, but that offense, be it through special teams or just out of their execution, has to find something to help give them some ignition, because it just feels like it's been tough to get consistency for them.
Yeah, they're going to have to find some juice somewhere, and it's going to be tough to come by because Roy has played so well defensively, but they've got to do something, and it starts right here on the opening drive of the half.
Is confirmed the winner of this game will head to Rice-Eccles and will take on the Timpview Thunderbirds, defending state champion, able to get the decisive victory tonight over Orem. If Roy wins, they will be the home team at the U, which would be awesome.
Yeah.
For Roy. So, second half underway. This kickoff into the end zone for the touchback, and Viewmont will start at their own 20. So, when you think about the Viewmont offense, it's been tough. Receivers haven't been able to get a lot of separation. The running game has had moments, but also, that Roy defensive front seven has been so tough to run against. What do you try to do to free up that offense in the second half, Jeff?
I don't know. I feel like you've got to find something on the outside. The way that the Roy defense has been stacking the box, those linebackers are playing really aggressive, shooting gaps. I feel like if you could find something to keep them honest, find a big play on the outside, maybe it's some misdirection, some trick plays, something like that to just give Titan Longson a little bit more breathing room there in the middle of the defense.
They'll start at their own 20 after the touchback here to start this second half. Roy showing pressure, they bring it. Longson looking to throw on first down, eyes down the field, and he'll decide to tuck this and run. And that's been the element that he has brought tonight. He has not been shy of, hey, if nothing's open, going to try to get some positive yardage on the ground.
You know, and I like that play call there. It is. They're moving Longson, moving the pocket. The way that those linebackers are playing, you just got to find a way to get to the edges.
And they were starting to get pressure in that second quarter on Longson.
Cool moment at halftime. Roy honored legendary coach Fred Thompson. He's the dad of Coach Eric Thompson. They're going to name the baseball field after him here at Roy. That's cool.
That was cool. I didn't realize the tie to Coach Eric Thompson, of course, head coach at Ogden, and wrapped up his final year at Ogden. What a job he did rebuilding that program. Is Viewmont here trying on the ground and not much there for Benji Tolman. Been that kind of a night.
Yeah, I mean, that Roy defense has been good. Karsten Engbird on the tackle on that one on the stop. But it is a 3rd and short. I mean, this is an area that Roy has dominated so far. But Viewmont has to feel confident, you know, with everything that they've done all year. You feel confident in these situations.
Tolman going to come off the field here on this 3rd and 3. Longson rolling to his right. Maybe able to pick it up with his legs, and he will, as he'll scamper up to the 34. First down for Viewmont.
Hey, then that is something right there that didn't happen in the first half. Those conversion downs, whether it be 3rd or 4th down and short yardage situation. I love the play call. Get Longson out. Let him use his legs. He also had a receiver there in the flat. Get something away from the teeth of that Roy defense.
But it speaks again to this Roy defense. No one's getting open for Viewmont down the field. There's just not. There's nowhere to go.
It is tough.
First down. Longson running out of time again, and that ball's out. And Viewmont able to get on it. The pressure there of Roy, really led by Ryan Foss.
Big number 10 coming off the edge. He gets home. There were a couple of Roy defenders there, but number 10, man, Foss, he laid the big hit, knocked the ball loose. Good job by the Viewmont offensive line to stay aware and jump on that loose ball.
And you talk about those first plays to start the second half. That's why they're rolling him out, right? Because that pressure has started to get home. It's going to be 2nd and 14 here for Viewmont. I'm trying to think, does Dres Jensen have a catch tonight? I don't think he does. A little screen set up, trying to find a little bit of room. That ball maintained, was nearly stripped away. Nice possession there by Jordan Jones to get positive yardage up to the 38.
Jordan Jones takes that little wide receiver screen, uses his quickness to break a couple of tackles.
38-yard line.
Still a 3rd and a little bit more manageable, but a 3rd and 7 here for Viewmont.
Got to get to the 45. Be interesting to see what Viewmont dials up here. 4 wide here to the bottom of the screen with a one-on-one to the top. Longson, little double move, looking up, and that broken up. Eleneke there in coverage.
Broken up by number 21, Keeley.
And there was a flag here on the play as well, in the area of holding.
I think they'll decline this.
Penalty marker on the play. Holding on the offense. 10-yard penalty is declined. Brings up 4th down.
So that Roy defense getting a stop on this opening Viewmont drive of the second half.
We did get a name. Shout out Kevin Ropoleto for the cheeseburger.
Oh.
Great news. Great for all of us. That was wonderful. So, Kevin, you made me a Roy fan. You made me a Roy alum. I feel like I'm part of the family now.
This is one of the really cool environments at Roy because it still is about community. There's a lot of community pride here. Always pack the stands. I went down, and the line for concessions was long as an understatement. And again, once you've had it, you understand it. Fantastic. But just the community here, it is something very special that you do not see across the state, especially in the larger classifications.
No, you get really big shout out to athletic director Mike Pusey here. He's as good as there is in the state. The environment that he's able to cultivate here and this Roy community is able to bring together. I mean, they had a Gatling gun of T-shirts. This feels like a college-level production, and it's fun.
And the thing about it, I mean, talk about Freddie Fernandez helped get this program going again. They had Eric Jones who kept it, and now you got Coach Chris Salamana, and man, what a job he's done of just continuing to build here at Roy and keeping what has been a great foundation going here for the Royals. Their first possession of this second half, it'll be Robert Young looking left side, gets a lane, and Robert Young with some room, going to turn back to the middle. Robert Young, we talked about he can just be so explosive across the 30 before being driven back. The first big play of the game it's like the third big play of the game for Roy, but the first for Robert Young.
And that was a big play for Robert Young. Really impressive tackle in the open field by Viewmont. I believe that's number 20, Ryan Tillman.
Yeah, we have an injury here for Viewmont's number 23. It's Riker Taukiuvea. It looks like just cramps there. Boy, the way he went down, it was like, oh, that doesn't look good. It's good to see it's cramps.
Yeah.
That's what we're presuming here. But
stretch him out a little bit.
You see Robert Young, again, just the explosivity that he brings. That's a normal run play, and next thing you know, you're, 50 yards down the field.
Yeah, he's just, every time he touches the ball, he can go. We mentioned that Idaho State offer this week for Robert Young. Congratulations to Robert Young. There's another FCS school that isn't too far east from here that I don't know what they're waiting for. Weber State. Maybe make the trip down Riverdale Road and come see what's happening here at Roy, because Robert Young is right here in the shadow of your stadium. He's the kind of guy who goes to Weber and has a great career.
Feels like Weber kind of got the traction going again by, doing that very thing, right?
You would think so. They did, with Jay Hill there, and they did. But it does feel a little bit like maybe they're kind of going away from that. I don't love that.
By the way,
so first down here for Roy. As Sella back in the backfield here.
Hungry Howie's Pizza.
And they'll give it to Logan. He's got a nice lane. Sella down the sideline, inside the 10. It'll be first and goal for Roy.
It's Robert Young with the left-hand jab, and then you turn around and it's Logan Sella with the right-hand jab.
Well, we've got an
official down.
We're going to step aside here as they'll come out and have a look. We'll be back. Welcome back. Official had to be helped off the field, but he was able to put weight on his leg. We saw it did not look great, and fishing's a tough business, man, let alone when you have to worry about these young kids and the physicality of it. Hope that he'll be okay. As this look to the end zone, broken up. Nice play made there by Viewmont. Had touchdown written all over it.
Yeah, really great play by the defensive back. Trying to make out a number, Dane. I want to give a shout-out. That was an impressive play. Eleneke was there in the corner of the end zone. And that Viewmont defensive back went up and got it.
And now we've got a Viewmont Viking who's down on a knee here. Is there 7:50 left? That's why we're kind of letting our clock tick away here and get back even up. As we've got an official timeout. We will take another quick break and be right back. All right, welcome back here. Second and goal for Roy.
Second down.
Chance really to, I don't want to say put this one away, but it would be extremely tough. Sella, and yeah, I think that Gardner was down on a knee, so that play is going to be called dead. A loss of about 4 on the play.
Yeah, good call by the officials there. He was the little bobbled snap, had his knee down. Credit to Drew Gardner. I mean, he sold it really well like he wasn't down. Dan, we do have breaking news.
Yeah.
We're into the 30s. We're now 39 degrees. And that doesn't matter for anybody watching at home, but it matters a whole lot for me.
Here. So I was going to ask you this question. In some sports, we take hydration breaks.
Sure.
In the early or late summer, early fall. Why don't we take a heater break?
Yeah.
When we get to November? That sounds like a really good idea, doesn't it?
We should. With all these movements, that's the movement I want to push. I want to get my momentum behind that.
Let's get a heater break. We got third and goal here from the 12. Pressure coming. Gardner able to buy time, gets this one away. That is caught, but it was out of bounds. Well, they almost did a really good job making something out of that. It was looking to be disrupted quick.
Yeah, great play by Gardner to evade the pressure that was right coming down the barrel. Great play call by that Viewmont defense. They brought the heat and forced the incompletion that will force another field goal try.
Here's the crazy thing. Viewmont has not scored a touchdown since the first quarter. It was 3:31 of the first quarter. Oh, sorry, Roy. That was the last Roy touchdown. It was 3:31 of the first quarter.
Yeah, this Viewmont defense is really buckled down.
Starting to find it. As Froker on to try from 29. He had a 28-yarder in the second quarter. 27, my apologies. As this hold is up, and Froker's kick is good. 27-7. Roy pushing the lead up here in the third quarter. Welcome back. Have some scores we'll update you on here. We got 5A action for you. Bountiful in a dogfight with the Maple Mountain Golden Eagles.
Yeah, Bountiful, very good team. They beat this Roy team here on this field earlier in the year. But Maple Mountain, that defensive front of Maple Mountain is a lot for anybody.
This kick high and into the end zone for the touchback.
In another rematch, Olympus and Brighton, more 5A action. It's Olympus that gets on the board first. It's in the second quarter, 7-0 Olympus over Brighton.
That's another good one in 5A. We've got some 4A games and some 6A games. Oh, how about Bountiful with a quick answer? 28-21, Maple Mountain leading Bountiful that game in the third quarter.
I picked Weber over Corner Canyon. It's not going well.
Don't poke the bear, Jeff.
No, the bear was poked.
It was poked.
Corner 59-34 over Weber.
That bear and social media very upset with Jeff Hansen. Viewmont going to run it here on first down, being stretched out, and not a lot of room to work there for Tillman.
To be fair, the Region 1 upset I meant to pick was Davis maybe over Skyridge, the darts.
We talked about that one.
We did.
Said that Davis team could do it, right? The thing for me was that Skyridge River team was like, was that real or was that not? And, man, Davis.
Here we are.
That would be big.
That would be
because
big.
you talked about it with Weber. Region 1 going down to play kind of the powers has not gone well. You went Weber, could have gone Davis, but if Davis would get that win, that would be a big win for that entire region,
yeah,
really.
That would be huge.
Second down here for Viewmont. And this thrown, caught, and that is Dres Jensen with his first catch of the ball game, taking it up to the 45. Good throw and catch there.
Really pretty route by Dres Jensen. You could see that one developing. He was going to be open on that play. Longston did a great job anticipating him coming out of his break and delivered a dart to Dres Jensen downfield.
And that's where I wondered, Viewmont, they haven't stretched the field a ton. They've ran some vertical routes, but, man, if you get some late breaks, see if you can't open up a couple lanes downfield. Longston is accurate enough to take advantage of that. See if they maybe look to do that more here in this second half. First down play. Longston running out of time, able to evade pressure on his feet, and he'll just slide here at midfield.
Whoa, that was impressive. Longston evades the pressure like that. I mean, that's a gain of 5, but my heart's pumping. I'm a little bit warmer now because that play was so exciting.
It feels a long day a long time from the days of Jared Lorenzen, right? When you had like the 300-pound quarterback and never would have been able to fit in that lane.
No, but Longston did, and he looked great.
Longston did.
And then avoids the hit. Great play.
Yeah, second down, they'll go back to the ground. Tolman had 2 Roy defenders there. That is a hard-earned 3 yards for Benji Tolman.
Yeah, Benji Tolman keeps his legs going. He was met at about the line of scrimmage and managed to go for 3. That sets up a real, one of those third and shorts once again.
This has been where Viewmont has struggled. Third and short, fourth and short. See if they can't find some success here.
In the first half, we saw direct snaps to a running back in these situations. First play of the second half in a third and short, they got Longston in the pocket moving, and he ran for the first down.
Longston rolling near side, trying to find something. Defended well. Longston able to get the first down. And, of course, if we're in the NFL right now, you're tacking 15 on because you saw the helmet just get moved a little bit. by that Roy defense, but enough for Longson and the Vikings to pick up the first.
Yeah, I mean, that's the biggest adjustment we've seen from this Viewmont offense at halftime. Those short conversion down situations, it's no more direct snap. It is get Longson moving, move that pocket, give him options in the pass game, but then let him tuck it and run it. If the lane is there, they're 2 for 2 here in the second half.
They're getting stops for field goals. They got to get touchdowns. They got a little momentum building on this drive. Pistol formation here with Tolman in the backfield. Longson, quick throw. Jensen with the catch. Still moving his legs down to the 30. Nice play there for Viewmont, first down.
I love it. Dres Jensen is a specimen. I mean, he is the most dynamic wide receiver on the field for Viewmont. Got to find a way to get him going. That quick pass and then let him do the rest after the catch. They pick up a first down there. This has been the Dres Jensen game, or the Dres Jensen drive, rather. He's coming to life a little bit.
The thing that will be interesting to me is if you can get Dres established, can you go back to Dunrow? Remember, he had the big first half.
Yeah.
If you can establish 2 real receivers to defend, that's when you can open up the running game a little bit if you're Viewmont. Roy showing pressure. Play action. Over the middle. Has a man wide open. Caught. Touchdown, Viewmont. It's Cash Tuia, the senior.
Great ball by Titan Longs, and he finds Cash Tuia. That's exactly what Viewmont needed. A big touchdown, have a chance now. It's a 2-possession game, Dane. That defense is feeling confident, holding Roy to field goals. Viewmont's got a chance. This one is far from over.
The point after try for Viewmont. This kick is up. And it is good. The Vikings get the response they needed, 27-14. Not done yet here from Roy High School. We talked about the size of the receiving corps for Viewmont, obviously without Mickens, but Dres Jensen. We talked about Cash Tuia, and I think his first reception of the night, it's a big one, 30-yard strike.
Yeah, big play and a big moment of this game. Right now, the momentum is on the Viewmont sideline. They're down 27-14, but they're feeling as confident as they have all game.
And they do not want this ball in the hands of Young or LMK back into the end zone for the touchback.
You know, if Moose were here, and maybe you've had this conversation with him as you've called games in the past, when the weather gets like this, how hard is that ball when it's time to kick it off?
Yeah, I feel like I've asked him that question. And knowing Moose, the answer was probably so ridiculous I forgot it.
That's fair.
I think Moose just probably said, yeah, it's freaking cold, man, but hey, you're a kicker. Like, you go kick it. That's what you do. That'd be my guess.
Yeah,
right?
that sounds like Moose.
He'd have a little more passion behind it. It's cold! You know?
He would.
Yeah.
And he'd work in some adjectives probably somehow, but
that's what makes kicking so amazing. First down. And it's Young, looking left side, able to get the edge. Young has a first down, and he'll just trot out of bounds. Robert Young, a gain of 17.
And it's just so tough to stop him. That's a play that looks like Viewmont's got it strung out that could even go for a loss, but he's just so fast. Beats everybody to the edge, turns it upfield for a gain of 17.
We've talked about Orem and Faleti Iongi. It's kind of like, yeah, we don't engage him out of the backfield until the second half. And then we just let him run ruckshaw, and it kind of has that feel a little bit. We've seen Young get more involved in the offense, especially out of the backfield here in this third quarter on the first couple of drives for Roy. First down, Viewmont bringing pressure, picked up, looking deep, and that just incomplete late. Oh, and a late flag going to come in here. It was Isaiah Morris was the intended target. I think the question here is, will there be a PI?
I think there will be, and I think it's a good call. It felt like a late flag. I watched the official. He couldn't find the flag. He was fumbling around trying to find the flag. He didn't want to throw it late.
I can't believe I just heard Jeff protect an official.
Well, let's not get carried away with protect.
He didn't want to throw it. I mean, look at you. Look at you, Jeff. You're growing.
No, he did want to throw it. He just couldn't find it
No,
in his
that's
belt.
what I mean. You're trying to say it's not like he was questioning it, because usually that's kind of the undertone of that comment, right? Well, he couldn't make up his mind. You're like, no, he knew it was PI.
Yeah,
you're out there protecting him.
Well, he knew that he thought it was PI.
Yeah.
I don't know that I thought it was PI, but he definitely did.
So we'll move it across midfield. First down here for Roy.
Courtesy of Studio 48 and Intermountain Health.
Robert Young in the slot here with a lot of cushion.
A lot of room. Has the safety lined up on him. They'll run it. Turning back here, Sella has the first down. Good run for Logan Sella, gain of 12.
Just such a physical runner. The way he's able to shed tackles and keep his top speed going is impressive.
Tackle made by number 22.
That's the other side benefit of being at Roy. You're right on final approach.
Yeah, you're practically on the runway. If this were a Mission Impossible movie, somebody could have been dangling from the landing gear.
And we would have seen it.
We would have seen it.
We would have seen whether they have a beard or not.
Yeah, felt the sweat drip off their body.
First down, toss. Here's Sella. Looking inside and keeping those legs churning. He'll pick up 7.
Logan Sella.
You know, we give a lot of credit to Robert Young and Logan Sella, and they deserve it. But this Roy offensive line is very, very good. And it's guys like Cade Draper that have been really good all year long. Number 65, Cade Draper. He's a college player. Very good Roy offensive line.
Second and short. That's Young in motion. Gardner. Oh, Eleneke with the catch, first down. Head out of bounds.
That's what makes this Roy offense so tough. You expect big plays, expect them to push the ball downfield, and on a play like that, Eleneke just puts his foot in the ground and cuts his route off, and he is wide open.
And, I mean, you can make that play all day long,
Yeah.
right? 7-8 yards.
Courtesy of Studio 48 Dance Studio and Intermountain Health.
First down for Roy. Motion again. They'll go on the ground and broken up in the backfield. What pursuit there by Blake Moore, the linebacker for Roy.
Yeah, great play by Blake Moore. Remember, he almost had that interception at the goal line. Here he is behind the line of scrimmage. He comes free, comes up with a big tackle. That's what you got to do. You got to win on first down against this Roy offense. Make things long for them to have a shot.
2nd and 13. Remember, they had the 2nd and 20 back in the first half, ran a screen play. Wouldn't be surprised to see them look for something similar here. 2 backs here on this 2nd down play. Viewmont bringing pressure. Roy trying to get out of the backfield, and that run blitz was very well timed. It's just a gain of 1 for Robert Young.
Yeah, great play call. You had Blake Moore coming free, forces Robert Young to the outside. The rest of the Viewmont defense is there to come up with the tackle. And now it's 3rd and long, 3rd and 12 here. This is where Viewmont's defense has buckled down since the first quarter.
A stop here would be huge. 3rd and 12 inside of 2 to play here in this 3rd quarter. Sella to the left of Gardner. Look, and end zone. Young is open. Caught. Touchdown, Roy.
That's what makes Robert Young so tough. He lines up in the slot, and he gets a linebacker on him. And as good as Blake Moore is, he is a very good linebacker, 11 and a half tackles per game. When you got Robert Young up against a linebacker, that's a mismatch 100% of the time. And you saw him get some space. Great ball by Drew Gardner. And that's 6 for Roy.
Their first touchdown in over 25 minutes of play, but it's a big one. Extends it to a 3-possession lead. Looked like Viewmont had a chance to get another stop that they desperately needed. And Young using that speed to get by the defense as the point up and good. 34-14 your advantage for Roy in the 5A quarterfinals. It's so crazy because you got that 3rd and 12. You know they need a big play. You're manned up on Young. And before that ball is out of the hands of Gardner, Young's already got the DB beat by 3-4 yards. It's just like, it doesn't seem like it should be that hard, but he makes it that hard to defend him.
He is. He's just so dynamic off the line of scrimmage. His ability to get to his top speed quickly is unmatched maybe in the state. He doesn't look like a big physical imposing threat. He's 5'8". I don't know how fast he is. He's very fast.
He's fast.
But Parker Kingston called him the best athlete in the state of Utah. Just overall athlete. And it's hard to disagree when you see him live. The things that he does, even when he doesn't get the ball, just those quick moves off the line of scrimmage, he's special.
I asked Coach Gardner how hard it was to try to defend him. He said it's extremely hard because you've got different. If he's lined up outside, you want to roll coverage over, but then they've got other guys who can beat you on the ground or through the air, and you can kind of see how challenging that can be. This is ruled a catch for Viewmont. That's Jordan Jones with the reception and an impressive one.
Now that was a dime by Titan Longson. The ball to the far hash, and he drops it right into the breadbasket. Really impressive throw.
And I feel like Longson was accurate in the first half. There just wasn't a lot of room for him to try to move the ball ahead in this passing attack. In these last 2 drives, they found some room. Longson looking deep, and this one intercepted. It's Eleneke with the pick. He's got a couple pass breakups tonight. That's the first one he's hauled in for his 7th interception of the season.
Boy, that's what he does. Eleneke is a lockdown cornerback. 7 interceptions now on the year for Eleneke. He's had a phenomenal year. Even when he's not coming down with the ball, he's always in the right spot, but he's able to come down with the pick on that one.
I like the idea. You're, again, one-on-one. We've talked about we feel like the size advantage for the Viewmont receiving core. But when you play DB, you know you're always going to be going up against bigger, right? So it's about learning how to play the ball, use your athleticism, and we've seen Eleneke make multiple plays on the defensive side tonight, but that one maybe the biggest.
Yeah, certainly the biggest play. And look, from Viewmont's standpoint, that's exactly what you got to do. There's a minute left in the 3rd quarter. You're down 3 scores.
Yeah, you don't have time.
You don't have time. You got to try to force the action. Eleneke is just able to come up with a big play.
So that Roy offense will come back out on the field and really a chance to make this definitive. Leading by 20 here with 1 minute to go in the 3rd, and we've got a timeout personnel challenge here for Roy. It will force them to use their first of this 2nd half. We'll step back. Be back here. So after that timeout, first down for Roy. Viewmont bringing pressure again. Oh, I thought that was going to maybe be a hook and ladder there, Jeff.
Really great recognition by Willoughby to sniff out the screen. They tried to get the ball to Robert Young, but Gardner, my goodness, even when the play blows up, he's able to make something happen.
A couple of Vikings maybe ran into each other, and I think they're going to stop the clock here, try to make sure they're okay with 41 seconds left.
Can you feel your toes? How are your toes? My toes are gone. I don't even know if I have them.
I had to stand up. I had to get some blood flow again, you know.
I'm afraid if I try to stand up, I'll just topple right over.
Well, I got bad news for you. There's a ladder, Jeff. Yeah. I don't know how you're going to warm those things up.
And a guy like me, a ladder, that's not a good situation in any weather, much less when I don't know if I have toes or not.
Here's how I know how Jeff feels about ladder. He would not go down the ladder at halftime to warm up.
No, sir. No, sir. I'll keep the cold, and I'll keep my feet.
Try to convince you. 2nd and short, 25 seconds left here in the 3rd. Again, Viewmont bringing pressure, a little toss. Sella trying to get around the edge. He'll pick up the first down. Good run for Sella.
Stop the clock as they reset the chains. I don't think Roy will run another play.
Yeah, they will not. So it'll be a first down for Roy when we start the fourth quarter. They've got a 34-14 lead over Viewmont. 12 minutes away from getting back to Rice-Eccles Stadium.
That's going to be the end of the
start of our fourth quarter. 34-14. Roy led early, is led throughout. 12 minutes away from advancing back to a semifinal. Here's Young. No, excuse me, this is Sella. And Sella ahead for a gain of 9, maybe 10. Well, you hope he bounces up if you're a Roy fan, and he does.
I learned something between quarters, Dan. Apparently, the kids love ice cream and cake.
You know, you got to be really committed to singing about ice cream on a night like tonight, don't you?
You do, and everybody in the stands, well, at least the student section,
yeah,
they were committed.
They were committed.
So kudos, Roy student section.
Movements and all, Jeff.
Yeah, it was choreographed. I already talked about how I love choreography.
Here's the thing. When I was in high school, I was always like, yeah, that dance thing, that's not for me. But now that I'm older, I'm like, you know, would have kept the blood flowing. It's probably on me not being very smart. Roy trying to attack here. That ball overthrown was intended for Eleneke. Incomplete.
Pass incomplete.
It's going to set up a 3rd and 1 here, Dane, and I'm anxious to see, curious to see, do they bring Logan Sella back? Yes, it looks like they will. This feels like Logan Sella territory.
It does. You know, we talk about that first matchup, the 42-28 win for Roy. Talk about some of the performance of Viewmont. How about the performance of Logan Sella in that game? He had 13 carries, 190 yards with a touchdown. Robert Young had the 5 carries for 94 yards and 3 touchdowns. Plus, you had Eleneke's 99-yard pick 6.
You started with 5 carries, and it's like, oh, that'll be a pedestrian 40 yards. No.
Yeah. Here's a 3rd and short. Looks like this might be Sella time. Ball bounces, and there's nowhere to go. There have been a couple low snaps. If there's an area for Roy tonight where they're going to be like, we got to fix this, it's some of the low snaps. It's created some challenges for the timing of that offense at times.
Yeah, we saw it earlier where a low snap forced Gardner to a knee, and the ref blew it dead. And then right there, he has to go to 2 knees to even catch the ball. Yeah, I agree with you. That's the critique. And look, if you're looking ahead, you can't have those kind of mistakes against Timpview. Not a 3rd and 1.
Pass on the play brings up 4th down for the Royals.
So 4th down. Roy set to kick this away. Not out of the realm for Viewmont, but they probably have to be pretty efficient in finding the end zone from here on out. As this kick away, fair catch signaled for and taken at the 8-yard line.
Fair catch called for at the 8-yard line. 1st and 10. Viewmont Vikings.
There's a lot of night action at the airport here, huh?
I was just kind of thinking to myself, you're in those single prop planes. What can you even see at this point?
You know what? You can actually see a lot.
It's dark, Dane.
I know, but it's at night. You see like the whole city lit up. It's actually pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
That does seem cool. Seems a little scary. I'm a little scared. You get me in a plane up in the. Humans aren't meant to fly.
Yeah, well, I don't know, man. You go up in a plane and all of a sudden it feels like you're meant to fly. This possession started at the 8-yard line.
Got to find big plays if you're Viewmont. Chunk plays.
Longson looking for one of those big plays. Coming back and just through the fingertips. Boy, had an opportunity at that one. Would have been a tough grab, but Dunrow couldn't bring it in.
Yeah, great adjustment by Dunrow to come back to the ball, but would have been a heck of a play. Required a heck of a play to come down with that catch. Not quite able to do it, but that's what you got to do, right?
Yep.
Throw it deep, try to get those chunk plays. If you miss, the clock stops. You preserve those precious seconds in between plays.
And this is where, you're at a point where you pretty much know what's coming at you if you're the Roy defense, right? That running game probably out the window.
Yeah, I would think so.
Longson running out of time, and that's going to be intentional grounding in the end zone. This is going to be 2 more forced by that Roy defensive front.
It sure looked like it was in the end zone, but they haven't called it in the end zone. I wonder if he had a foot outside.
Well, it's an intentional grounding, so it's going to be at the spot of the ground, which would be in the end zone, so you'll see the signal here. Yep.
Results in a safety.
That Roy defensive front, it's been a problem all night.
Yeah, they have been just incredibly aggressive. And right there, I mean, you just mentioned it. You know what's coming. They're able to pin their ears back and come after the quarterback on that play.
So the Roy defense with the safety, 36-14, and they will line up for a kick here, or a chance to receive a kick.
And now I don't know, I'm looking at the clock. If I'm Roy, I've got a 22-point lead. I am starting to think about Logan Sella, Robert Young. I want to keep them healthy for next week.
I do too. It's a cold night, and things can get awry. I'm with you, right? I'm like, hey, let's get some depth going. And but you know what? I see one of those players is out there, and it's not Sella. He's walking back like he'd love to take one to the house.
He hasn't had a chance to return much tonight. But with the kickoff coming up on because of the safety off of the 20-yard line now, I think Robert Young will have a chance here.
Do you know how many kickoff returns for touchdown Robert Young has this year?
You've asked me this, and I didn't know then, and I said I'd remember because you'll ask me again. But I don't remember. I think it's 3.
Boom, Jeff! Yes! Yeah! Look at that.
Who says a blind mouse can't? I don't know what the saying is.
I think even
something
a blind
about
mouse
a squirrel
finds cheese or something.
I don't know what it is.
It's Eleneke. He'll try for the return. Up the middle, across the 40, that'll be about it. You know what? Jeff, I got to give you props. I've quizzed you all year long. You've been close on several, right?
Close.
You nailed that one. Nailed it. And by the way, that's in, 11 games?
Yeah.
So every third game, every fourth game about now, he's returning a kick to the house.
He's dynamic, man. He is dynamic. All right, now here's the moment of truth, Dane. Are we smart or are we just passive? I'm taking out, Drew Gardner. I'm taking out Logan Sella. I'm taking out Robert Young, Eleneke, Cade Draper. But they're all back on the field.
They're staying on.
I guess I get it, too. I mean, it is their last home game, right? Even if they win, they're not playing here again.
Well, some of it, too, is, hey, you're going to have to figure out a way to play all 48 minutes. Oh, how about this little trickeration? Eleneke forced out of bounds, but you're going to have to play all 48 minutes against you next week. So you better get used to playing in the cold, the endurance of that, because I don't think you're going to have a 20-point ball game in the fourth quarter of that one.
No, I don't think so. Well, how about this? They're leaving Drew Gardner on the sideline. I thought maybe that was a little one-play trickeration, but looks like they're going to line up that way again.
9.5 to go. Great year for Viewmont. I mean, you think about, they beat Bountiful. It was one of their team goals this year, and hadn't beat Bountiful in a while.
Yeah.
First place in the region. Lost a couple region games, including to these Roy Royals, but here's Robert Young with the carry ahead to the 40. That's another first down. But really to see what this program is doing for Viewmont, continues to grow, continues to get stronger every year under Coach Jones.
Yeah, it does. And look, Viewmont had a lot of goals coming into this year. They hit every single one of them. Obviously, you get to this point in the season, you want to progress and play at Rice Eccles. You want to win state. All of that stuff remains true. But that doesn't take away that, hey, look, nobody saw this Viewmont team being in the position that they were in outside of that Viewmont locker room. They believed, and they got here.
First down for Roy, and Young still taking the snaps here to your point. He'll run here. Gets to the line, not much more. Oh, wow, he got 2.
Young on the carry. Tackle made by number 12.
We talked about it, Dane, last week when we watched that Orem team and Faleti Iyangi. Iyangi never comes off the field for Orem, but he somehow gets stronger and better as the game goes on. I see a lot of that same stuff from Robert Young. Look, he plays defense too. He's the holder on special teams. He's the return man. he doesn't come off the field very often, but he doesn't look slow. He doesn't look passive. He just continues to get stronger as the game goes on.
Gardner on for this 2nd and 8 play. And they will stay on the ground. Sella with another chunk run. Here he'll pick up 10 yards and a first down.
Yeah, great blocking. That could have ran a truck through that gap. Logan Sella hits the cutback and picks up another first down.
Thank you to Studio 48 Dance Studio and Intermountain Health.
When we talk about this Roy team, 1 loss on the year, and most of their wins were quite decisive.
Yeah, very good year. And that 1 loss came against a very good Bountiful team. There was some controversy in that game too, but it came down to the wire. They played
rugby
great.
toss. And
yeah, that might have been illegal even in rugby too.
they'll stay on the ground. Sella. And this is a Roy team that they've had really good regular seasons, but they've had some challenge in the postseason of maybe living up to their regular season record. That has not been the case this year. They're going to get a decisive win here at home to get back to Rice Eccles.
Yeah, man. I mean, Roy has been impressive all year long. We expected them to be at Rice Eccles as this season got going, and you saw this team turn into a wagon. They are going right where we expected them to be all year.
And I don't remember if they were a 1 seed back in 2014. They might have been. I don't recall if they were or not, but they are this year. Of course, RPI did not exist back then, and they are deemed the best team in the classification coming into these playoffs. They continue to show it here tonight. Sella with the carry on 2nd and short. He'll surge ahead for the first down for Roy.
Takes the ball to the 20-yard line.
No, sorry, they're going to mark him short.
Tackle made by number 44.
So it'll be 3rd and 1.
1 yard shy of the line to gain, brings up 3rd and 1.
Sella moving here to the left of Gardner. Late signal here. And look out, Gardner able to evade. Eyes down the field, has a man, that's caught. First down for Roy as it was Rhett Slater with the reception down to the 12-yard line.
Number 11, Rhett Slater.
We're going to flip the script a little bit, Dan. Looking ahead, Roy going to take on Timpview, assuming they close this out, nothing crazy happens.
Yeah.
When was the last time those two teams met?
Okay, I think, I could be wrong. I think, I don't know the last time, but if I recall, they lost to him in that state championship game, and I think they played him either a year or two later, and they beat him.
I am looking here, and I believe 2018 is the last time that these two teams have played in that game that Roy beat Timpview.
Roy beat him?
Yeah.
So it was a few years after than I was thinking, but okay. Into the end zone for the touchdown. It's Isaiah Morris. His 2nd touchdown reception of the night as they ring the bell here at Roy.
It's all Roy here in the second half. The way that they have turned this offense, we talked about it, 25 minutes without a touchdown. They have found that gear again here in the fourth quarter.
Froker on here for the point after try.
Kobe Froker for the extra point.
Yeah, movement up front there.
Now, do you remember who the quarterback was for Roy back then?
In 2018, I'm going to get this wrong.
You should know this one. And if you don't, when I tell you,
it was Jackson Dart.
It was a young man named Jackson Dart.
Yeah, boom. How about that?
Well done. Still doing his thing in the SEC.
Yeah. He's got another, I was going to say he's got a big one this week, but let's be honest, it's every week.
Yeah. Ole Miss, Jackson Dart. Every game's an elimination game for the Rebels the rest of the way as they try to get into the playoffs.
So that penalty will back up Roy. This will be a 25-yard attempt. I don't know. Those gloves are kind of right in the way. Yeah, come on. Come on. And the point after here from Froker. This one up and splits them.
Extra point, up and good. Cody Froker.
43-14 for Roy. Just over 5 to go. We'll be back here in the 5A quarterfinals. Roy ready to kick it off. This one into the end zone for the touchback. This series, I haven't played a ton, just recent region rivals. Roy leading the series 8-4 in the history of these two programs, having won the last 3, I believe. And soon to be the last 4 for the Roy Royals. Jeff, you started off the broadcast talking about, Viewmont could hit some, I don't remember, some notable numbers.
Yeah, some milestone numbers.
I knew it started with an M. But it's been a record-breaking year for this Viewmont Vikings offense. Longson set a couple of school records and single-season records and game records. Been a great year, despite the score here tonight.
Yeah, I mean, look, this offense, 3,000 passing yards, more than 3,000 passing yards, more than 1,000 rushing yards. You get 8 wins at that Viewmont program, that's great. I mean, that's a great season and something that Coach Jones can build off of going into the future.
They played in November for the first time in, I think it was like 6 or 7 years. As that ball, boy, that is dropped right to his receiver, but knocked out late due to coverage, incomplete.
I think it is worth noting we thought that maybe we would see those starters leave the game for that last offensive drive for Roy. They're all off the field now. Robert Young, Logan Sella, they've been playing defense too. They're not on the field now.
So let me ask you this. I mean, Roy going to play Timpview next week. We know how big Timpview is. Those linebackers for Roy, can they slow down the Timpview offense?
It's tough. I think I really like Roy's linebackers against that Timpview rushing attack. But where Timpview scares me, if I'm Roy, is those wide receivers. Yeah.
Well, and that's where, for me, again, Viewmont's had a size advantage. We've seen the corners play much bigger than their 5'10" stature. Can they match up with the Pulas and the Ambrosios and the list that goes on and on?
There's just so many of them for Timpview, and that's what makes it such a challenge for everybody. Eleneke is going to have a fantastic game because it's a pick your poison. You've got Galii, you've got Ambrosio and the Pula twins. So many weapons in that passing attack for Timpview.
Longson trying to float one. That one incomplete. I think the thing that will be interesting is, can Roy get pressure on the Timpview quarterback?
Yeah.
Don't know if it's going to be Rasmussen or not. I don't know if he's back or not. If it is, he is elusive, right? But can you get enough pressure on that quarterback to disrupt the passing attack and allow your corners kind of the approximation to make plays on the length and size of the Timpview wideouts?
Yeah, I mean, that will be the challenge. And then on the other side of the ball, I like this Roy offense against anybody. When they're clicking like they are tonight, Timpview has a ton of team speed, a ton of talent in the secondary and at the linebacker unit. But, man, I'm convinced after tonight that Roy can hang with anybody offensively.
Longson trying to dial one up for Jones. That one incomplete. I think the thing, if you're Roy, right, you walk into that game, you're going to be 11-1, coming off a couple big wins. What you should pay attention to is that Orem only scored 8 points against Timpview.
Yeah.
You better be focused offensively, right? Like, you feel really good, and you should. But, man, you better be ready because that Timpview defense is going to be something else.
They are. They're going to be really good. And, look, that Timpview team, they're playing their best ball right now. You mentioned Rasmussen. Is he going to go at quarterback for Timpview? I don't know that Timpview really is worried about it with the way that Aston has played at quarterback. They hung 50 against a really good Orem team tonight. They're going to feel confident, too, and Roy should feel confident. This is a game that you're going to have two confident teams. Roy's the number 1 seed. They're going to be the favorite, from that standpoint. They're going to be the home team. And Timpview's going to feel like they should have been the number 1 seed. So, yeah, I mean, I think you're going to have two really motivated teams at Rice-Eccles Stadium next week.
Should be a great semifinal. Of course, the other semi is still to be determined. Close games on the other side. Olympus playing Bryant tonight. Bountiful playing Maple Mountain tonight. I think both those games still battles.
Could set up, depending on how those other games shake out, just two completely contrasting styles of play in those 5A games. Defensive struggle on one side of the bracket. And
Longson looking deep, has his man inside the 10. Boy, just number overload. And Roy couldn't cover everyone as it's first and goal, Viewmont.
Yeah, great ball by Titan Longson. I believe that was Jordan Jones on the catch. Yes, it was. Jordan Jones on the big play. He's been great for Viewmont tonight.
So first and goal, Vikings. Trying to get some positive news here late. Help send some of these seniors off with some positive memories. Blake Moore lined up in the backfield behind Longson. Looking for Jensen in the end zone. Oh, and that just came out late, but a penalty flag going to come in here on what will be a pass interference call. Jensen almost made an impressive grab.
Yeah, almost with the one-handed grab there.
Pass interference on the defense.
Will be a defensive pass interference. Look, you got to tip your cap to Viewmont that they haven't quit.
Yeah.
I mean, they have played hard. Even as this game has kind of gotten away from them a little bit here in the fourth quarter, they are still playing hard like they're right in this one.
Jensen still to the bottom of the screen here, one-on-one matchup. See if they look that way again. Yeah, Jensen's open, touchdown Viewmont. That's a great move from Dres Jensen to set up that lane to the outside, and that's one that they're not going to miss. Longson's not going to miss that.
No, and look, he deserves it. He's been fantastic all year. Good moment for the senior there to get a touchdown here in the playoffs.
Yeah, we talk about Jensen's year. That's his, I think, his 12th touchdown reception this season. And young man, a multi-sport athlete, plays basketball, so he'll trade in his cleats for some, sneakers? I don't know.
Sneakers, is that what we call them?
Sure.
That's what we call them. I don't know if that's what the young folk call them.
I'm 40, so I think that's okay.
Yeah.
Is this point after up and good. 43-21, your score, Roy out in front. 3:20 to go here in the fourth quarter. Beautiful night here at Roy. Want to thank Mike Pusey and everyone at Roy for helping make sure that we're all set up, good to go. And, of course, we already talked about Rumpalato for sending food up.
Yeah, incredible. Made a Roy fan out of me. Quick note, Dane. Dres Jensen with that touchdown catch. That's the Viewmont school record for touchdown receptions in a season.
Good for him. Congratulations, Dres. That's awesome. Little onside kick here, and that might have been touched early. And Viewmont saying they might have it. There's a scramble late, and Viewmont does have it. Now the question is, did that touch a Viewmont player? I thought it might have, but not certain here.
I thought it did as well. I don't know. I mean, if it did, it wasn't a ton. I don't know if they're going to be able to see that on the field.
There was a marker that came in. It got thrown in, and it's sitting at the 49, but that is plus 10 yards. So we'll wait and see how the officials rule this. And, of course, no replay for any of that. Yeah, there you go.
On the kicking team. First down, Roy.
It was actually a very well-kicked football.
It was.
For an onside kick. Player just ended up being in the same spot as the ball.
Yeah, yep. It was well executed. I thought that the coverage was great there to come up with it. Look, onside kicks are tough. Sometimes that's just going to happen.
Yeah, I've actually been interested in some of the new onside kicks you've seen, like the spinorama.
Yeah.
And people are trying to get creative with it. I get it. I love it because it's so difficult to execute.
Yeah, that traditional, get 2 hops and then hope it goes up in the air. It works so infrequently that why not try something different?
And this is why I kind of love those that are talking about taking away the kickoff. I don't love that. I like kickoffs. But I love the idea of, all right, 4th and 15.
Yeah.
Right? Like no onside. You got 4th and 15, go execute it. And if you do, you can have the football because the onside kick thing to me is just too challenging right now. But Viewmont there, offside. This will move it ahead 5 yards.
New quarterback in the game for Roy, Tyler Dixon. Big number 18, just a sophomore. Getting some valuable playoff reps.
He doesn't have a height listed on the roster, but he's got to be 6'5".
7 feet. I mean, he's tall out there. Look at him command
long
over the huddle.
Yeah. So first down. Well, 1st and 5 for Roy. They'll stay on the ground. The carry here by Coy Tuckett. The senior able to get back to the line of scrimmage. A late flag coming in here.
It's going to be some kind of a late hit, a roughness, something like that. I would appreciate it if there were no more flags, just to keep that clock ticking.
Why, Jeff?
You know?
Why?
Well, because I think we're into the 36 degrees, not that I've been tracking it.
Did you not bring gloves?
No. I mean, it was unintentional.
Okay.
But as I got out of the car, I realized, no, I did not bring gloves. So I had to pretend like I'm tough and like I did this on purpose, but I very clearly did not.
You know, I could have given you a pair of gloves.
That's true. I could have asked.
I was hoping you were going to go all movie line on me. You had a second pair of gloves?
I should have.
Yeah, we're in the Rockies. You know that one, Jeff?
I know that one.
Okay, good.
I missed it. That you lobbed that one up like a softball, and I just whiffed. That one's on me.
So the penalty was called on Roy. It's a costly one. It's going to be 2nd and 20 after that call. Dixon will hand off to Tuckett again, and not much there. Be 3rd and down coming up.
Good to see Coy Tuckett getting some carries here. He's a senior. When you play behind Robert Young and you play behind Logan Sella, the carries are tough to come by. This is a cool moment for him.
Yeah, one of the seniors for Roy, last home game. You know what we haven't talked about? We've gotten to the 4th quarter, the waning minutes of the 4th quarter. We've not talked about the jersey. How about the black and yellow of Roy? I dig it.
I do
shoulder
too.
stripe.
Yeah, I really like it. I like the helmet sticker too. I think that Roy is one of the best dressed teams in the state. Look, I like Viewmont. We talked about it in the pregame.
That ball's loose. Roy able to get back on it?
I like the way Viewmont looks. I think this is a great look for them.
Yeah.
For me, it's just a little overshadowed because this is one of the best looks in the state, the black and gold at Royal.
I'm an Idaho Vandal fan, so my heart is partial to black and gold, but I love the look. You know, you've got the word mark across the chest. I love it that it's pronounced. I love the shoulder stripe. It just works.
Yeah.
And dang, it looks good.
Yeah, it does. It looks great.
Timeout. Oh, go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna. I like the what is it? The phrase, the motto: "Live golden, bleed black." Is that what you do, Idaho? Do you live golden and bleed black?
Well, I was trying to think of something like creative with that because I've got a bleeding problem.
Yeah,
but it's not bleeding black. So, but you could say I bleed black and gold. I mean, you've seen my office. There's a lot of black and gold.
There's a lot of black and gold. Yeah.
And you know my wife, bless her heart, has no problem with it. So,
well, she says she has no problem.
Well, she lets me put it up.
For now.
You got a lot of blue and white in your office.
I do too, and my wife does have a problem. It's just a matter of how long can I get away with it. I don't know if you saw, Dane, on the X machine.
Okay.
The tinfoil made a reappearance for me. I've been known to wear a little bit of tinfoil in my day. And my wife, once again, rolled her eyes.
You're going to have to tell me about this tinfoil, Jeff.
Well, if you're going to give me a soapbox, the College Football Playoff Committee, if they continue to disrespect BYU, then I have to break out Wyanon, and we got to get to the bottom of it. So I Have to wear the tinfoil for protection, obviously, to make sure that nobody gets to me.
Viewmont Vikings.
And my wife, sweet, sweet wife, she stuck a couple of pictures of me wrapping the tinfoil around my head, and all she had to say to me was, Jeff, in this economy, it's hard to argue.
Well, you could save it for next time. No?
No.
All right.
No. No, sir. We've got real important work to do.
Viewmont will start at their own 18-yard line.
Told you, I can't be held liable for anything I say after 40 degrees.
1:33 to go. Longson rolling out as his man, trying to turn this back inside, trying to catch that Roy defense. Maybe a little off guard. Got some space down the near sideline across midfield. And look out. Viewmont with a big play. Here's Ryan Tillman. Takes what looked to be just a simple little 4 or 5 yard hitch. Reverse the field and take it 82 yards for the touchdown.
Great run after the catch for Tillman. Man, 80 yards is a long run no matter how you measure it. I think he had to run 150 yards from sideline to sideline. Just a fantastic run for Tillman.
Well, it's 82 yards down the field, but a football field's, 66 yards wide,
Yeah.
I think. So you've got, to your point, about 150 yards of running on that play. And Tillman, one of the seniors for Viewmont, that's a great senior moment, right? In the playoffs, last game, you have a play like that. That's a great moment for that young man.
Yeah, great run after the catch. That was impressive.
You remember the score of the first game, Jeff?
2-point conversion.
28-14? I thought it was 28-14. Did I make that up?
You did.
Okay.
42-28.
Oh, well, that was close.
You were close, but
14-point game.
I mean, we're within 2 of that.
We're here.
Crazy, huh? Viewmont going to go for 2 here. Longson rolling out, looking end zone, has a man, and that is caught and good. The 2-point conversion,
Conversion is
good for Viewmont as like that. It's a 14-point game. Late flags coming in here with 1:13 left for the Vikings.
Hey, look, you've got to be impressed with the fight of this Viewmont team, and that speaks to the culture that this locker room has had. That even if the game feels like it's gotten away from them, they are still playing hard, having big plays like that, and crazy things can happen in football when you're playing hard.
This score, this is not a predictable kind of score, right? The 43-29, this kind of feels like the old days, certain network when it's like, let me pick a couple prime numbers, and I don't know how you could ever get to that, but hey, let's just go with that.
Right.
And we kind of found ourselves there in this one.
Just a couple of prime numbers.
The penalty there was on Viewmont, so this will be enforced on the kickoff. Got another onside here, Jeff? Why not, eh?
Yeah, why not? First one nearly worked. I've always wondered, why don't teams line up for these onside kicks and then just kick it into the shins of the guy in front of them just as hard as they can? I saw it in the NFL for the first time.
Yeah.
And it worked. I mean, the
worked.
guy, it was coming 1,000 miles an hour, and he just had to deflect it for his life.
I mean, that happens in the water, boy. It worked there too, right?
Yeah, worked then.
How about we got track stands going on. See if they can get out of the blocks quickly here. Onside try, got to go 10 yards. It does, and Roy's there and on it, and that should do it. Viewmont does have 2 timeouts.
Number 4.
In case they try to extend it, but in a 2-possession game, we'll see if they like to or not.
I would assume Roy's just going to kneel this out.
Ball is on the Viking 39-yard line. 1st and 10, Royals.
.113 on the clock. Dixon getting the call from the sideline, has Cash Nuttall lined up next to him. Going straight Cash here on the handoff, and Cash able to pick up 4 yards.
Coy Tuckett on the carry. Takes the ball.
Hey,
it's like
it would help if you look at the right roster.
Tackle back by number
That's Coy Tuckett
57.
because, he plays for Roy.
Well, there you go. Looks like Coach Jones will keep those timeouts in his pocket.
So, Roy here. Pretty crazy. Same spread and really within 2 points of the first matchup from the regular season. Different ways we got here, but nearly the identical result is Tuckett again on the carry. Has the first down, and that will do it. The Roy Royals pick up the first down. And once they set this, I don't think they have to run it.
Ball to the 22-yard line.
Should do it. Really strong performance by Roy. You've got to be impressed with that offense. And most importantly, Dane, they did. They stayed healthy again. They're going to need everybody they got if they're going to take down Timpview again.
The Royals advance to the 5A semifinal. They will take on the Timpview Thunderbirds. For the Viewmont Vikings, that program continues to grow year after year, but their season ends in the 5A quarters on the road. Jeff, your final thoughts and a selection of a player of the game.
Really impressed by Viewmont and their fight. That's a program that is on the upswing. Cannot let them go home without mentioning that. I mean, this is a program that's just getting started. Player of the game, for me, it's Logan Sella. He could have gone Robert Young, but Logan Sella and his ability to just continue to get 8-9 yards per carry, I think he's the heartbeat of this team. Robert Young, he gets the highlight plays, those big home runs, but without Logan Sella getting the tone set, I think it makes things really difficult. I was really impressed with Sella on both sides of the ball tonight.
The Vikings continuing to grow, but it is Roy who's already grown, and they're ready to return to Rice-Eccles Stadium. A reminder, you can catch the 5A semifinals and championships with pregame, halftime, and postgame coverage. No one will bring you more coverage of the 5A playoffs than KSLSports.com. For Tino Psyche, Jeff Hansen, my name is Dane Stewart. Thanks for joining us, and come join us next week for action all day long. 5A, 6A, 4A, 3 games a day, Thursday and Friday. Again, we'll have pregame, halftime, and postgame of all those games right here on KSLSports.com. Have a great night, everyone, and we'll see you up on the hill.